So this video is gonna be different than what I'm used to doing. You know, I know a lot of you guys follow me because I do travel, urban exploration. I go for different neighborhoods. But this video is gonna be a little bit more kind of on the personal side, you know. Now I know you guys have read the title in the video. Before I proceed further to the video, I wanna point out that what I did in the title, I did that over a year ago in March 6th, 2025. We're in 2026 now. And I'm not in the States anymore. I'm out abroad in Southeast Asia, specifically in Metro Manila in the Philippines. My new home, being out here for a couple of months, but I've been in and out of the country. And yeah, I made a couple of videos, you know, explaining, you know, why did I resign and all of that, but I didn't went deep in depth of why. So I think I'm gonna get more in deep over here and speak to my heart. And also I know a lot of people, maybe they're experiencing the same thing, so maybe they can get some motivation out of this. I'm not telling people, hey, you got to do exactly what I do, because I know everybody has different motives in life, different goals, different ambitions, but maybe you can get something off of this, and I want to explain why, you know. So we're going to start deep forward with, you know, the reason why I did what I did. Like I said, I'm going to keep this video as honest. You know, I feel like now is the best time to say why. So as you guys know, I quit my 9-to-5 job at age 38. I'm 39 now, almost 40. And I've been with that company for a long time, over 13 years, and plus an extra 2 years working in the hospitality industry. So it makes it a total 15 years. Giving a little background from before, I went to elementary, middle, high school, and university in Puerto Rico. And like I say, I did everything by the books, everything that I was trained to do. You know, hey, you gotta go to school, gotta go to college, get good grades, then get a job, and pretty much that's it. So I follow all of that. So I graduated college in 2009 at the age of 22. And keep in mind, back in the days, we didn't really have the technology we had back in the days. And I didn't have the mentality that I had now. So, you know, I just thought that was a normal thing to do. So that's what I did. You know, I went to school, college, high school, got good grades, I graduated. Then I was 1 year still living in Puerto Rico trying to find a job, and no success. So I decided to move in 2010 in May to New Jersey, because that's the state where my father lives. And I heard that over there was much more opportunities than back home in Puerto Rico. So that's what I did. And I wanted like a change of pace also. Like, I love Puerto Rico, it's my island, but I wanted like a change of pace, a different environment. So I was decided to move to New Jersey or New York City area. And that's exactly what I did. So I moved over there, and after 3 months of moving to New Jersey, you know, I settled with my father. He helped me out, you know, with everything to get settled with debit card and everything and how things work over there. After 3 months, I finally landed a job, which had nothing to do with my degree, and the money wasn't good, but I didn't really have much work experience. I was just a kid, 23 years old, 22, 23, and I wanted to gain experience. And like my grandma said, you know, even if it has nothing to do with your degree, just get that job, you know, work hard, work your way up, and then you could transfer if you find a better job or a job that fits your degree, then go for it. And keep in mind, even when I went to college, I didn't really knew what was my passion or what I wanted to do. I just went there because, you know, my grandparents would tell me, hey, you got to go to college and stuff, get yourself a good degree, you know. I was kind of considering doing an associate's, but they were like, that's not really a real degree. They thought like the bachelor or the 4-year degree was the real degree. So that's what I followed. But I didn't really knew like what is really what I wanted to do. And I feel like at age 22, you know, everybody's different, but at age 22 was still pretty young to know, you know, what do we really want in life. Life is always evolving, life is changing so much, and I still feel like we are still child, or our mindset is not really well developed to know what do we want to do in life. So, but I was just following because that's what they trained me to do. So I landed my first job. And then I ain't gonna lie, even in the beginning, I was kind of noticing some red flags, but I didn't really pay much mind, because I say, okay, I don't really have work experience, so maybe this is the way to do it, you know. So I worked at that job. It was a hotel, a small hotel in Red Bank, New Jersey. So I worked over there for 8-9 months, I believe. And then people told me to transfer to another company. There's another company that's hotel, but it's like a bigger company, and I could transfer worldwide, and the money's better paying. So I did that. So I worked 8-9 months in that small hotel, and then I tried to look for another job in another hotel. It wasn't really a transfer because it was not really the same company. So I guess I could start again in another company, but still in the hospitality. So I start with another company in the hospitality industry in Newark, New Jersey. And it was about an hour away from where I was living. But I thought, it's okay, you know, if I get this job, I'll work and then I'll save money and get myself a place over there and become 100% independent, because I was still living under my father, because I didn't really know much about how things worked back in New Jersey. And then after that, you know, I got myself a rental unit up north near my job, and I thought I was feeling good, you know, I was feeling good with it. And the money, it wasn't really much, but back then, you know, the inflation wasn't so high. I didn't really have like much bills, so I was able to live comfortable, to pay my rent, you know, afford my groceries and stuff. And you know, like I didn't really have much bills or family or anything, so I was able to live comfortable. But after a while, I started to feel like, okay, this is not really where I want to be. And I started noticing behaviors and managers, but I still had like that boss mentality, that trap mentality that I just got to take it, you know, it is what it is. You know, I got to work harder, make more money to achieve something and goal. And then people told me, you could work in the same company, but in Manhattan, in New York City, and over there the pay will be even more. A lot of people that used to work at that property in Newark, New Jersey, they were transferring to New York City, and I was tempted to do it, you know. I wasn't thinking much about the consequences of life or the workload. I was just thinking, okay, if I make more money, I'm probably gonna get way ahead. So after a year trying to transfer, I managed to get a job offer in New York City, and the pay was gonna be almost $10 extra per hour more than what I was making back in New Jersey. So I was really hyped up. And at that time, I was still only 25 or 26 years old, so I was still pretty young with a whole life and career ahead of me. And another thing, this was a brand new hotel that was being opened up in Manhattan. And I was excited because I was considered a charter member. Charter member is when you're one of the first employees to work at a property that's brand new open. And yeah, I was one of those, and things were gonna be difficult. Then we had to assemble a lot of things in the property. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie, when I started like those first days at the job, I honestly was noticing a lot of red flags. The vibe was just different from my former job. And I wasn't really like liking the routine, but then I thought, wait, I'm making almost $10 extra per hour more. So I just gotta go with it. I just gotta deal with it. And I just went on with the flow. You know, years passed by. I was doing the same thing over and over, waking up, going to work, home, work, sleep, doing it 5 days a week, or even 6 days a week. They would offer me more overtime. And the money was even better, but then I didn't really have time for myself. I didn't really have time to focus on my hobbies or goals or passion. And to be honest, instead of growing or advancing, I feel like I was just literally wasting my life and my time, you know. Throughout the years, I started realizing that. And then mentally, I started changing, like it was mentally draining me. And my mood was just like, not the same. Even though I saw a lot of happiness deep inside me, I just wasn't really happy with my current situation. And what kept me there was, of course, the great money that I was making. And plus I think, okay, a lot of people, they wish they were in my shoes. So I thought, okay, even though I'm not enjoying it, maybe this is how life should be. But I just realized for the time that it wasn't like that. You know, everything was trapped, like you were trapped. And then you realize coworkers, even people that you think they're close to you, they're really not your friends. You're just enemy, you know. Never trust even people that you think they're close, because those people, they can be nice and friendly, but behind you, they can backstab you, and you'll pay the price. And I almost paid the price, but I'm gonna get a little bit more forward into details. So where it really started hitting me was when I hit the 10th anniversary, not with the company, but the 10th anniversary with the property that I opened. Like I said, I opened up that new property in Manhattan. After the 10 years, the management team, everything, they were gonna have like a celebration, even for the new hires, but for everybody, specifically the charter members who've been with the company for 10 years. Keep in mind, a lot of people, they left the property, but there was a lot of people also who were still in the property, including myself. So they were gonna do a celebration. And yes, I'm not expecting like a raise, a lot of money, or a fancy dinner, but it really started hitting me when what they gave us in appreciation was just a little wooden plaque that say, thank you for your service of 10 years. And then they just bought us pizza. And like I say, I'm grateful. I'm not trying to expect anything expensive, but I'm like, okay, I sacrificed all these years with this property. I was loyal to this property, and this is all we get in return. Pizza, something that I can buy off of my own pocket. Like, you don't even notice like the effort they were putting. They were not putting any effort to appreciate what the employees do for this job, you know. Another thing that I noticed also is that no matter how you do, nothing was enough. Now, I am not perfect, nobody's perfect, and I'm not bragging. I am not better than anybody, but in my department, I think I was one, if not the hardest worker in that department. And yet I had a few colleagues that they didn't really work in my same level. And I don't mind what they do as long as it doesn't affect me or my money, but they will mess up or they will not do the expectations that the management wants you to do. And then I would still get in trouble with them together. And I thought that was not fair. Like, I'm not perfect, but I would try to do the best I could. And then you're putting me in the same level with people who don't work at the level that I work. So I thought that was not fair. And then they say, hey, if you have any problems, just let us know. And when you let them know, it's like it comes out in one ear, it comes out in one ear and it exits in another ear. And it was not due. So I'm like, what is the point? What is the point if nothing's gonna be done? And like I say, time and time was passing by. But then this is when something really bad happened, and I feel like this is what really was a cherry of me thinking like, okay, you know what? I think enough is enough, and it's time for me to really resign and move forward with my life or really do something that I'm passionate about. And like I say, something bad happened. And like I used to joke a lot, and I ain't gonna lie, I got caught off guard. I kind of fell for this trap, but some of the few callers that try to set me up in a prank or something like that to get me to say something. And then something bad really happened that's considered kind of like defamation of character. So they try to make some lies about me, saying that I was planning to do something. I'm not gonna say why, because I think YouTube might kind of ban that out, but they try to say that I was planning to do something horrendous to the building or something, to the point that cops got called, a terrorist squad got called, and they were looking for me. But thank God I had somebody who was a coworker who was very, very close to me. And she was the one who was guiding me and protecting me. So she recommended I took like a leave of absence, which I would not get paid, but at least I would take time off and get therapy or anything. So it got really bad. And the crazy thing is that a lot of people involved in this thing that they were trying to set me up, they worked with me from day one. They were charter members, they see how I am. Of course, I'm not perfect. Of course, I had my moments, but it's just being a human being. But they still chose to go against me. And that's when I say, never trust nobody. So, and there was a huge amount of people who work at the company who were just like we call in the States, snake. Like they seem to be, hey Manny, how are you? But behind your back, you see what Manny do? They backstab you. They're like your enemies. So I didn't want to be surrounded by that environment. So I took 2 months off. I wanted to resign, but I said, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna let this stop me. Let me just go back to the property and keep doing it. So I keep doing it, but then years and years were getting, and I realized that things were not getting worse. I was just not only stuck sinking on my mind, my depression was getting horrendous. And it got to the point that I said, enough is enough. I started waiting the constant polls if I resign this job. Yes, it's a shame because I've been too long with the company. It is great money, and if I resign, I'm probably not gonna make the same amount of money. But I also started thinking, okay, am I happy here? Is my health okay? And the truth is I'm not. Even if I change a different routine, a different shift of work, I was just not happy, and I didn't want to keep being part of that environment. But I want to shout out to a few colleagues who are very close to me, and they look out for me. If you're watching this video, I miss you guys. Thank you for everything you've done. I hope you guys are doing well. But I said enough is enough, and I decided to type in my resignation letter. And then I was like for a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes with my hand, like, should I press send and send? But I did what I did. Like I say, the hardest part, I think, is doing it. But once you do it, you just feel like you just lifted a weight off your shoulders, a weight off your shoulders. And now it's been a year, and I am not 100% where I want to be, but I am at a peace of mind. And the best of all is that I have control over my destiny. And now you guys are probably thinking about the financial part. So I'll explain a little bit about it. So I'm doing jobs remotely, which is not a lot of work, but I'm living here in Asia, and the money goes forward. And I'm a simple guy, so I'm able to survive. Also, I know I'm gonna get cooked in the comments. A lot of people always say, don't do it. I took my retirement savings out. And a lot of people say, no, you should wait until you're senior, but I just didn't see the reason why. Yes, I was gonna pay a lot of taxes. Yes, I was gonna pay 10% penalty, but I still waited. Even after all of that, even after the taxes and the penalty, I still had a decent amount of money for me to survive for a few years out here in Asia, but I can always figure other ways to make money. Because the thing is, even if I stay there or I keep it when I'm 59, nothing is guaranteed. With the inflation, deflation, it can go up and down, or what if everything goes off and you lose all that money that you've been saving for a lot of years? It's a dog barking because I'm here in a beautiful park in Metro Manila, the Philippines. Pretty nice area. I live like about 10-minute walk from here. They have a lot of nice buildings. It's safe over here. Much cheaper than where I was living in Jersey City, New Jersey, and I'm happy. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you can check all my previous videos that I've been filming out here in the Philippines and in other neighboring countries in Asia. Because that's what I mostly do. I do travel content, but I'm doing this little different video that's a little bit more personal. But like I say, nothing is guaranteed with inflation. You don't know what's gonna happen, with those retirement savings. You can literally lose it all off, it's just the truth. And then another thing, God forbid, me and anybody watching can live a happy, prosperous, long lifetime. But the truth is, anything can happen. You don't know if you're even gonna be alive when you're 59 years old. So I just thought, tomorrow's never promised. The time is now, and now's the time to live it. So that's why I really took that retirement savings money out. I just wanna live now in the present and not just wait for the future, because you never know what's gonna happen. So that's just a little story about why I quit my 9-to-5 job at age 38, And I know not everybody's gonna agree with me, but at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you, and find what brings you happiness. And that's what I did. I wasn't happy with what I was doing back in the States, and I did what I had to do in order for me to be happy. Now, I'm just gonna give you a little tiny tour of the area. I filmed video many times over here, but I know a lot of people are new and they're curious to see the neighborhood that I live. This is Bonifacio Global City. It's one of the most developed and most expensive neighborhoods in the Philippines, but it's still way cheaper than my old studio apartment in Jersey City. And here we got like a plaza. I'm not gonna show the whole thing, only a little portion, but we have a lot of condominiums, call centers, and they're developing a super tall building. Then over here, it used to be like a strip, and I think they're gonna build like a luxury mall. And you see the modern skyscrapers in the back. So a lot happening over here, And then we have like a little plaza over here. Oh, it seems like they got something going on. But there's always something happening in this neighborhood, and I'm very, very happy with my choice, But also that contributes to the title of this video. If I wouldn't do what I did 1 year ago, I never thought that I could live in a place like this, like nice, developed, in a condominium. I already filmed a video of the condo too if you guys want to check it out, but I'm at a peace of mind because I've always been fascinated with Asian countries, Asian cultures, and living over here gives me access to many neighboring Asian countries within 2 or 3 hour flight away. That's another difference between living in the States and living out here, that I can fly 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'll be in a different country with different language and different food, versus living in East Coast USA. It takes me 5-6 hours to travel to the West Coast, and you're still in the same country with the same language. So this is a local park, and this is one of my favorite areas of this neighborhood. But if you go like towards the other side, it gets actually busier, and in the nighttime, it's actually nice. So this is a chill walk and talk video. I thought this would be the perfect spot for me to film this video, This is something different from what I'm usually used to do, You can see what I'm surrounded by, clean, nice streets, developed area, and so far I'm happy with my choices. But I think I'm gonna wrap up the video over here. Just a little simple video explaining, why did I resign the job, my 9-to-5 job at age 38, and I'm unsatisfied with my choices. So that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there. Everybody, God bless y'all, and peace.